Good morning, good afternoon. You've reached King Triad's Tribe. I'm Matt, and today I'm going to give you my journey from before I met my twin all the way up to separation. But first, I would like to tell all my viewers thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, even disliking, or subscribing to my IG account, King Triad's Tribe. I really appreciate more than I can express your support, because without your support, I wouldn't be able to give out the messages that I have and have them spread to the people that that needs it the most. So I really appreciate that, and you guys are awesome. And of course, you're awesome because I mean you're part of my tribe, my soul tribe. So, oh yeah. So, and also for the impatient people, I will timestamp the video so you can just move on to the main message. And I'd also like to say thank you for everyone supporting my IG boundaries. I asked for people to not direct message me, and I haven't had that happen in a long time. So I really appreciate that. It's helped me concentrate more on my emails and my coaching sessions, and yeah, and it's saving my energy. So I appreciate that. Also, I'd like to mention that there is energy donations. The information for energy donations is on my about section or in my description. And I'd just like to say thank you for all the people that has provided energy donations. You guys are all awesome, and in no way, shape, or form do I even expect that. But you know, that's just the type of individuals you guys are. You're just awesome. That's the best way of putting it. You're just awesome. Also, I put the information for my coaching sessions through Instago on my about section and in the description box if you're interested in that. And then in the future, here coming by the end, I will say by the end of the year, because I don't know how soon it's going to be. I have a couple of things in the works. One thing is developing a website for this channel, and then another thing is writing a book. I'm actually going to be probably writing a couple of books, but one book in particular is going to be about connecting with angels and healing, and it'll probably contain. I'm thinking I'll create a workbook that people can use to help. Help monitor, ask questions. I don't really know. I just know that that's something that I believe might help the collective. So one thing I'd like people to keep in mind when you're watching this video is that I will be withholding some details out of respect of my divine counterpart. I'm not going to go into every little detail because, I don't know. There's some things that you should respect my privacy and my divine counterpart's privacy. And but I will give you the information that I believe is going to be the most pertinent to helping you move forward. And I realize also that I'm being extremely vulnerable. Whenever I started back doing my videos in December, there's no way in heck that I would ever be to this point where I would be sharing this information with anyone. But I feel like that right now is time for me to share this information with you guys or ladies. I'm basically doing this to assist others, not to highlight my relationship or brag about my connection or any other reason other than helping my tribe. And you guys have been awesome and asked me a lot of questions, and I just think I think this might help each one of you out. I want each one of you to know that this is a beautiful, your connection is a beautiful song that's being written every day. So, no matter, if you're in separation or if you are actually in union or where you're at in your connection, you're developing a song right now. And, at the end of your journey, you're going to look back and it's going to be a very beautiful song. And it's a song that only the divine could create. And this will probably be a longer video. I'm going to review my connection before I met my divine counterpart till our separation. And at the end, I have a series of questions that I'm going to answer from the community section. It's roughly about 16 or 17 questions. Some aspects, such as the runner and chaser dynamic, I won't answer. I won't go into detail about that just because it's a broad subject, and I feel like that I need to do a video strictly on that, so that way that I can keep this video not short, but it's going to cut down on the amount of time that I have. I'd rather just get to your questions. So moving on to the main message. So first off, all my life, I had a type, and if you know what I mean by a type, is basically a particular person that I would date. They traditionally look the same, and I didn't really catch on to that. But then again, I was a slow learner. So all I know is there were certain people that I was attracted to, and I never knew exactly why. And my family and friends would point it out, and I would just deny it, But I was searching for something or someone, and I even remember being in first grade, and I remember there was a little girl. Her name was April, and she sat behind me, and I remember her just like standing out for some reason, and I just never understood that. But anyway, so I was searching for something or someone, and I wasn't aware of who or why. And basically what it comes down to is I was searching for my twin. And I went through a 10-year marriage and a few karmic relationships before I met her. And basically I was one tough rock. I wasn't even a brick, I was a rock. The universe kept giving me similar situations with different people. Each time at the end of those relationships, I would reflect on the situation, and I felt like basically a complete idiot because I didn't learn. And I was like, why didn't you see that coming, Well, it's because whenever I would go into a relationship, it was all about, well, they look, she looks cute or she looks hot or whatever it may be, and not looking down what's inside of that person, or even knowing exactly what I wanted or who I was. I mean, honestly, even though that, I knew that I was looking for someone or something, at the time I just thought that I was like searching for a particular type of girl, but it wasn't. I was searching for my twin. My soul was searching for my twin, but the 3D of myself was searching for basically a girl that's like hot to me. So when my parents passed away, I was basically at the tail end of a karmic. And I decided at that time that it was best for me to step away from dating because I was continuously making mistakes, and it was more or less down the lines of the definition of insanity. So I finally made a good decision, which was step away from dating, because I recognized that I had a lot of work to do, and I knew I was looking for somebody particular. And at that point, after I lost my parents and I went through a divorce, I was bound and determined to find that person, that I was looking for, and not just settling for somebody else. So I remember praying approximately the second week of May in 2017 for someone that loves me and loves my kids as much as they love me. And then on Memorial Weekend, I got up and was going to the gym. I think it was a Friday. It was either Friday or Saturday. I decided to check a dating app that I was on, and the first person that came up was a beautiful lady. And you know, the way I would go about things was, if I wasn't even attracted to that person, then I wouldn't even read their description. So, but I was attracted to her, so I read her profile, and she seemed really amazing. And that, you know, if anybody's used dating apps, you know, that's really hard to come by. Usually, if it looks too good to be true, it's probably not true. So I liked her, and I was thinking this was basically I was thinking it was a fake profile or a catfish profile, if anybody knows what that is. But it was a few minutes later, and she liked me back and sent me a message. And then we planned to go out to a baseball game on May 29th, which 29 equals 11. And at the time, I was nowhere aware of numbers or synchronicities. When I met her, I asked her if she was the person I was meeting, because she was just kind of standing by herself. I was standing there for a while, and she was running a little late, and she walked up, and I was like, and she was gorgeous. And so then I asked her if she was the person I was meeting, and I looked her in the eyes, and I just gave her a hug. And that was totally not like me. I was more standoffish and like not really like that, but I couldn't help it, because whenever I looked in her eyes, it was electric. I mean, I really felt like that I knew her, and at the time I knew nothing about twin flame dynamics or soulmates or anything like that. But I did know whenever I looked at her in the eyes that it was definitely something that I've never felt before. And so anyway, we had so much fun. I had so much fun with her, and we just basically at the game we stared each other in the eyes and talked like we knew each other. She definitely felt like home from that one day, and I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this has got to be too good to be true. I don't even know what's going on right now. I was really confused. But anyway, I was really hesitant for her to meet my kids, and it took a couple weeks till that happened. But what was amazing was whenever she finally did meet up with my kids, how much they liked her. And even my youngest daughter, which she's the protective one, and she's like me, kind of standoffish. She immediately had a connection with her, and that was like another like aha moment of like mind blowing. I can't believe this is happening. I'm like, is this too good to be true? So basically, that was very unusual, and all their connections seemed just as strong as ours. What I would find out later was that kids can identify the connection often before the twins know, because they're part of a soul family. It doesn't matter if you have kids with somebody else or not. They're still part of your soul family. And a lot of times, there'll be a lot of synchronicities with those kids and even you. So the feeling was the same between her kids and me. I loved them. Or I still love them, and that was probably one of the most difficult parts of our separation. I mean, separation was tough, between her and I, but it was really tough, like not being able to be around her kids. I keep track of their birthdays, things they're involved in. I'm basically really proud of them all. I even have dreams of conversations between each one of them. So as you can see, not only was there a connection. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me make sure this is it. Oh, sorry. Wrong page. So basically this is the scenario. So my twin and I dated from May 29th to September 15th, 2017. During that time, the energy of our connection was intense. My energy, my personal energy, was very intense, and overwhelming and unbalanced. I never had worked on energy work, and it was just like blatantly like in your face. Like, I mean, I'm a very passionate person, but back then, I was so unaware of what was going on, and I definitely needed to balance out my energy. And so my divine counterpart would take breaks from me in the connection, and she would say it's causing her to have pain or anxiety or something like that. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. Did I do that? I mean, I was like, I don't know. I was actually so confused. And I wouldn't understand why. And we were off and on at least 3 times during the full time we dated between May and September. And that was the push-pull effect. And also during that time frame, I guess it was kind of like a runner and chaser, although, she would like run, but I wouldn't really chase. I just kind of like let her go because I felt like that if I did chase her, that would just push her further away, and it probably would have. So that's probably the best thing that I did. And it's probably one of the reasons why I lasted as long as it did. And I didn't set boundaries, and I had a lot of behaviors and karmic energy from my past marriage, which affected her. I'll just give you a small taste of the scenario. So I lived in my original marriage house. I had some pics up, including a drawing of my ex and me in my bedroom, and I just like did not pay attention to any of that stuff. I mean, I think after my parents passed away and going through that, I just kind of like blocked everything out, and I never addressed it, and that was an extreme issue. I kept my marital bed, didn't think anything about that, and I was basically going through a challenging time with my ex, which that didn't help anything because, whenever I'd have issues, I would just constantly be talking about her, and it was like always in her face all the time, and that was just like, I was totally wrong, and it sucked that that I was going through that kind of stuff, and actually just being a dumb brick. So as you can see, not only was there the extreme energy of our connection, but there was an my energy of myself was extreme, and then I had the past karmic energy that was extreme, and all of that together is just compounded onto the situation and on her. And I was oblivious to it all. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, okay, whatever, And as I think I told you in one of my other videos, I had this like limiting thought process where, going into this connection with her, I was already under the assumption that, well, this is only going to last a matter of time. And you can't have those kind of thoughts. You got to go in there with being a king. I was not a king, even though she called me her king and I called her my queen. But she was my queen, and I treated her like a queen. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But even though she called me her king and I called her my queen, I was far from being a king, and I made some I never treated her bad. I had very good manners. You know, that was beaten into me whenever I was a kid. But some of the things that I would say without being aware of what I was saying, not anything like calling her names or anything like that, but it was just how I would say things or kind of project things onto her, or you know, that was something that was that I wasn't aware of what I was doing and how I was causing some of these issues. Like for instance, my energy being unbalanced. I mean, these are the things that you find out later on that you were not aware of. And now I look back and tell myself that I was a schmuck and that I was basically lucky that it lasted that long. And that's actually the truth. So we separated from September to December 2017 before having any contact. And then I felt like a pull towards her. I mean, I always feel a pull towards her, but I felt a pull towards her. So I emailed her in December, and we went out to dinner and a basketball game. And it was like we picked up where we left off. We had an awesome night. I mean, it was great. I mean, you know, and I missed her a lot. And it was truly amazing. And when I got home, she wanted to talk. And I just had a bad feeling about that, but I knew that I should have held off on having that discussion. But I felt drawn towards, and I was really itching to like, I wanted her to be in my life, and so I talked to her, and we talked for about 3 hours. And then towards the end, I deflected some things upon her, and I can immediately feel like an energy shift. Like it was like a vacuum sucked everything out of the room. That's the best way I can explain it. And I knew at that point on that fire and brimstone was coming down upon me, and and there was nothing that was going to save me from that. I had just messed up, and yep, sure enough, that's whenever separation started. She then sent me an email the next day and stated that to never contact her again, and those boundaries were enforced. And so I had no choice but to respect them. And so that's what I did. Not immediately. I did send her 2 more emails after that, but they were enforced. I mean, I'm just going to leave it to that. They were enforced, and basically I stepped back because I started noticing that I felt like that there was some codependency issues with myself at the time. So then I addressed those. So what I did was I got rid of everything. I got rid of everything, all pictures, all phone numbers, everything. And then, you know, from January to April of 2018, I don't think I even thought about her at all. Going back to the situation, so she enforced those boundaries. So basically, at this point, somebody asked, why am I not in union right now, or why am I not trying to get back to reunion? Well, basically, since she enforced those boundaries, it's up to her to remove the boundaries and let me know that she is receptive to talking. Once she removes those boundaries, then I can be the king, and I can come in, and I can do what a king does and take my queen out. But until then, I have to basically respect her boundaries, and I need to work on myself and trust in the divine, if that makes sense. So we haven't talked for 15 months, but during that, so I didn't waste my time during that 15 months. So during that time, I basically removed every barrier that I felt intuitively didn't serve my connection. I did a lot of inward reflection and outward reflection. Let me tell you, like a lot of people ask me, how do I get to this point? Well, you know, this was a long process, and I went through, you know, I would say that I went through 3 awakenings. So my divorce was 1 awakening. When my parents passed away, that was 2 awakenings. And then when my twin when we went into separation, that was my 3rd awakening. And and they were all terrible. I mean, not terrible as in like I wish, not that they were like not positive, because they are positive, but it just felt terrible. Like the feelings are just like, I know exactly how you ladies and guys feel. Like it doesn't feel good, and it's like, you know, sometimes it feels like you're gonna die. You're not gonna die, but it feels that way. Um, and basically, I put everything on the table that I needed to change, and I even got a journal, and I wrote that stuff down in the journal, and then I worked on that like a madman, like my life depended upon it, because it did, and it still does. And I even wrote down in my journal that a total transformation was a must. So I totally went through and transformed myself and my life to what I wanted it to be, what I knew that it needed to be. I removed people out of my life that didn't serve me, and I didn't serve a purpose in their life. I looked at the things that were around me. I gave away a lot of stuff that was in my life, in my house, and I totally just got rid of it. Like there was things that, you know, I just got rid of it because I didn't want that energy in my life. And I basically developed myself into what you see now as King Trident. You know, I'm Matt, but I'm King. But this is my channel, King Trident's Tribe, and I transformed myself into that. I got rid of my Facebook account. I don't have Facebook anymore, and the only thing I have is my Instagram account that you guys, most of you guys follow me on. So separation was needed, and I look at it as a positive. At the time, I didn't look at it as a positive. At the time, it felt like I was going to die, and it hurt like really bad. Like it felt like that, you know, my stomach was being ripped out of me, you know, and you know, my heart was cut in half. It hurt a lot, and I mean, I guess that's how it feels whenever, you know, your twin like separates from you. I mean, it's like a piece of you is being ripped out of you, and I guess it kind of is in a way. But it pushed me into transformation and showed me who I was supposed to be. And it also, I mean, it showed me a lot of things, but and also showed me how strong that I really was. And it showed me the tools that I have. It showed me how, you know, right now, how I can heal people, you know. And when I say heal people, it doesn't mean I'm like, if you have cancer, I'm gonna put my hands on you and you're not gonna have cancer. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about like me delivering messages to you guys, and being able to help you through difficult situations. And there's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think of her. And most of the time, it's throughout the day. I constantly send her love and healing. Before bed, I almost always tell her this. Number 1, I'm sorry. Number 2, I love you. Number 3, I forgive you. And number 4, I'm ready for you to come home. And there's no one else that I would want to be with. This connection is heaven on earth, and that truly is, and that's the truth. So, I will probably do another video on after, you know, more or less down the lines of my awakening. I already did one video about about my awakening, but I might piggyback onto that video because I'm sure there's going to be some more questions after that. But I'm to the point of the questions that a lot of you posted in my community tab. So I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to answer these questions to my best of my ability. So first question is how did I realize that I was a twin? Well, how I realized that was I went through that third awakening after our separation. And, you know, I had went through Dark Night of the Soul, got to my awakening, and then I had to get a new phone because it broke or something. Anyway, I got a new phone. I had already, you know, as I said before, I deleted everything out of my phone of my twin. Well, when I got a new phone, 10 to 12 texts showed up in my phone, and one of those texts was a conversation that I had with my twin. That she was asking me what kind of energy I felt with her, and she said past, present, future, lifetime twin flames. So she was highly aware of who I was and of our connection. So that was the first sign. Plus, those at that time I was going through awakening. A lot of synchronicities was happening. Like, man, I had a lot of spiritual experiences during that time frame. I'm gonna have to go into detail more in another video, but it was basically that awakening shook me up and was like, "Hey, idiot, don't you know who you are now?" And that's whenever I was like, I guess whenever I got that, when I seen that text, I was like, okay, I now believe exactly, because she knows, and that must be true. So, and then I had a lot of dreams. I had a lot of things in the physical, spiritually that happened, synchronicities, and so those were the things. And then whenever I would meditate, there was telepathy, and I was like, always questioning. I was like, is that really, or is this some voice in my head? But no, it's not. I feel her energy. I feel her. I know that she's around, and yeah. So that's. It took me a year later, so I didn't realize that till about July of 2018, but that's whenever I realized that. So second question is who awakened first? Well, obviously she was awakened first because she knew of the connection, and I was a lump on the log, and I didn't know what was going on. So she my divine feminine, she was awakened first. Third question is did my divine feminine talk about being a twin? She did, evidently, but as I said before, I obviously didn't pay attention, and just was like, okay, whatever, because I was oblivious to what was going on, and the only thing I cared about was being with her. So she did talk to me about it, but obviously I didn't pay attention, and so I guess that's where it goes, where, instead of guys talking, they need to start opening their ears up and listening to their divine feminines. Do I feel my divine feminine's energy? Yes, I feel her energy all the time. I can feel when she's purging, because the reason why I know that is because I'm like, well, why do I feel this way? There's no reason for me to feel this way. And so, and I know that it's not me. So, and also I can feel, I feel her through telepathy, and yeah, we're always connected. So yeah, I feel her energy. What does purging feel like? It just is like very emotional, and it's not that you're really sad. It's just like, it's like kind of like you're like missing something. It's kind of like when somebody passes away, and you miss them. That's kind of what it feels like to me. And then also like whenever like somebody's like getting rid of like behaviors that are no longer like needed right now, because you're stepping into your power, and that's kind of like what it feels like is, you get emotional, and you just like have these feelings of, I don't know why I feel like kind of like sad, even though I'm not sad. So hopefully that answers that. What is my current energy state? Okay, so I have some people like that's saying, do you know you're in divine feminine energy right now? Yeah, so bottom line is that my energy is balanced. So with what you guys see, ladies see, mostly ladies and guys. So anyway, when I say guys, I mean, I'm talking to about ladies and guys. So anyway, what you guys see right now is more me in my emotional state, because I'm expressing how I feel to you, and that's more along the lines of feminine. But what you don't see is whenever I'm not on camera, and how I take charge, and how I'm about mission accomplishment and that sort of thing. So, and my divine masculine energy really comes out when I get passionate or get to the point where I'm getting upset. So, but I will say that I'm in my balanced state right now. But what you're seeing right now is more along the lines of my feminine energy. Number 8, what is stopping reunion? Well, I just told you. So her putting up boundaries and enforcing them is stopping reunion. So once she puts down the boundaries and, lets me know that she's receptive, then I will come in as the king and I will make sure that she's well aware of what she's been missing. Okay, next question. So when I see her, is my energy intense? Yeah, the energy of the connect. I haven't seen her lately, but I mean, whenever I was around her, yeah, our connection was extremely intense, and all I can say is like heaven on earth is the best way I can explain it, and the connection was very electric, and whenever I was around her, I felt at home, and I didn't want to be anywhere else. That's the only place I wanted to be. Okay, next question. What could the divine feminine do to make a difference? I guess be understanding. That's the best thing that I say is like not only understanding of your divine masculine, but understanding of yourself, where you're at, where they're at, and just know that sometimes, they're not doing things to harm you. Now, if they're doing things to really harm you, like they physically doing things or something like that, don't put up with that. But what I'm saying is like, if they're running away or they're ghosting you or something like that, those little joker energy. Just try to be understanding and know that a lot of times it is the energy of the connection or your energy that's causing them to feel that way. And the main thing is just work on yourself. I mean, if you work on yourself, that's what's in your span of control. That's what you can do to really help the divine get you to either union or reunion. Next question. Do I have the urge to be with other women? No. I found what I wanted, and I will say this. I'm a very busy person. Dating to me is like a full-time job, and I already have a full-time job, plus I have kids, which is another full-time job, plus I'm doing this, and I have a lot of I'm very ambitious, so I have a lot of other things going on, and then, I need to make sure that I take care of myself, my personal healing, which it's been really difficult for me to do, and no, I don't even, to be honest, a lot of times I don't even think about it. And because I'm too busy working on myself, too busy with other things in my life, and and I know what I want. So, and most people that I see, not to be rude, but they don't match up to my standards, and that's only because of the amount of work that I've done on myself. Is she the love of my life? Yeah, she is. Of course she is. She's my twin. Do I think about her day or night? Yep, I do. Think about her all the time. Do I receive signs? And if I do, what signs? Yeah, I receive signs, synchronicities. Like for instance, today, my email was 22,000 exactly whenever I opened it up. I even posted it on my Instagram. So, 11/11. Hummingbirds come around me all the time. And even this summer when I was talking about her, hummingbirds came around. One almost stood on my shoulder whenever I was talking about her. I get a lot of numbers. I get, my spirit animals. I get energy feelings inside of me where I can translate energy into words, which is how I deliver a lot of the messages that I give you guys. And then, you know, there has been a lot of times where I've had dreams about certain things, and and they all just, you know, match up. But those are the signs that I currently get. Um, so did we experience a runner and chaser? Yes, we experienced a runner and chaser, and you know, after our final separation in December, she was the runner and I was the chaser. And I'm just gonna leave it at that because I probably will do another video on that. What is our age difference? So she's 7 years older than me, but she looks like she's like 10 years younger than me. So, and very beautiful. And I would just like to add, so on top of that, you know, some of the things I did notice, even though I wasn't aware of the connection, was some similarities between us. So if you go down the personality, the Myers-Briggs personality chart, I'm an INTJ and she's an ENTJ, you know, and both of us are on life path 2. We are both a life path 2, and she's a Gemini and I'm a Cancer. So, and I think she's a double air sign and I'm a double water sign. So, and we're just yin and yang. So anyway, that's the end of my questions. I hope this helps you guys out. You know, I really appreciate you guys' support. And it makes me extremely happy to be able to help you and hopefully push you in the right direction and heal you. And, you know, it makes me, me being your servant is very humbling, and I really appreciate that. So you guys are gonna have a great week, and just remember this, you know, what's most important is your well-being and your happiness. And you need to go through this week. First thoughts coming up, whenever you get out of bed, first thoughts, you know, today's gonna be a great day, and move forward, because you know what, those first thoughts is how your day is gonna go. So just remember that, you guys. Anyway, just remember love, peace, and happiness. I'll see you guys later. Bye.